kuogopa kwa sababu details zote ukiangalia macho, meno, mguu, main, kila kitu imefanana na vile iko kwa forest.
Na si wanyama tu, umetengeneza kwamba vitu vingi sana unatengeneza. Manake hapa nyuma yako nikiangalia naona coat of arms bana. Alafu naona ile logo, ile nembo ya kanisa la PCA. Kwa hivyo na maana unatengeneza vitu vingi tu. Nafikiri ni wakati wa kuzungumzia basi swala zima hili. Ama namna gani?
Nimeshukuru sana.
Kwa majina naitwa Morris Owendo kutoka Boaz Metal Art, na hii ni kazi na mali.
Bwana Mogwa, tuanze kazi, tuzungumzie swala zima hili la metal art. Ni swala ambalo kwa kweli watu wanadhani kwamba ni swala la kawaida tu, maana linafanyika hapa na pale, lakini kama nyinyi mnafanya uniquely, mnafanya kwa njia ya kipekee kabisa. Can you give us a thought on that?
Good. Thank you very much, Bwana Vincent. Boaz Metal Art is a normal engineering company, but we have some unique product, unique designs, and unique techniques and tactics that we use when doing the fabrication. Initially, we are doing the fabrication and the maintenance of normal engineering auxiliary systems. In fabrication, we are doing the normal gates, windows, and the interior design for household, for institutions, and we are targeting also to do beautifications for our cities, among other institutions. But we didn't have the product that we wanted it to use, and we are competing with the people who are manufacturing and fabricating very unique gates. But later, we ganged up with some other young men, and specifically Nelson Bogwa, who had done IT, but he had a lot of interest in art and design. And an idea came up on how we can improve the normal gates that by that time were very unique. And that's why the idea of sculptures came up.
Inamaanisha kwamba mkianza Boaz Metal Art, amukuanza na sculptures, amukuanza na kuunda hawa wanyama ama na mifano ya wanyama na watu kama hao, vitu kama hivyo. Mlianza na kuunda vile vitu ambavyo ni vya kawaida, milango, madirisha, vya kawaida tu.
Yes.
For how long did you do that?
Actually, initially we had done for about 10 years, doing the normal gates, the normal window frames, the normal doors. But then people outside, our competitors, started coming with the very unique design for gates and all that. So when the idea came that we can do sculptures, we wanted to use sculptures to beautify our gates.
Kwa hivyo haikuwa tu mwanzo kutengeneza sculptures peke yake, lakini bado mkihusiana na ile kazi ya mwanzoni ya.
Yes, we wanted to beautify our gates so that at least we can have a competitive edge.
Yes.
But when we made the first sculptures, we noted sculptures on their own, they are good product and unique product, and we can concentrate on sculptures. Secondly, we noted making sculptures, because it has very many components, it will be easier to use smaller parts. And that's when we started targeting the scrap and waste metal. And we noted that a lot of waste metal that an ordinary person will just dispose it. One, it's dangerous to our environment. In our case, we could get it, improve it, take it through a process of engineering, that's the fabrication, and get a very good product. And we started with a lion. And we noted the lion has the body, the head, the eyes, the mane, the legs. And with the smaller parts, we were able to assemble and make a very good lion. Now, Nelson Bogwa, who is good in art and in IT, his role is to take the natural status size of the unique product we want to make. And when we develop it on a piece of paper, our engineers and the technicians are able to transfer that to a sheet of metal, and using very simple tools, an ordinary hammer, an ordinary chisel, an ordinary hacksaw, we are able to form that into an animal we want to make. For example, if we are making an animal like a lion, we are able to form that with the minimum joints, and when we join, we come up with this end product.
Bila shaka I think before tufike hapo, manake najua kwamba tazungumzia sana kuhusiana na what you're doing here, lakini kuna swali ambalo nafikiri itabidi nikuulize. Manake miaka 10 you were used to doing what you were doing at that time, and it was your core business then, and you were making money from that. Now you swiftly changed to doing something different, lakini kwa njia tofauti, ukitaka kutafuta labda wateja wengine wapya na kwa namna hizo. I think the transition must have been a touch and leave kind of, manake haukuwa sure kama am I making the right decision ama namna gani, manake haukuwa sure kama sculptures unatengeneza zitapata wateja kwa haraka kama vile ulikuwa sure watu watajenga nyumba, so wanahitaji madirisha na milango na vitu kama hivyo. How was that transition?
Now, what we noted, one, we noted that people at the institution have started understanding the role of art. And we noted, for example, our city, specifically Nairobi, our honorable governor had started putting sculptures at the roundabout, imported from China. Some are made of fiberglass, others plastic, and the smaller one wood. And we noted so many hotels in Nakuru, in Nairobi, in Mombasa, they are taking their beautification seriously, and they have different type of sculptures for beautification and landscaping, specifically for that. And we noted that it's an area and it's a field that has not been captured by so many people. And we started doing marketing, and we noted potentially there is a big market outside there for these animals. And in our case, because of our experience, we were able to fabricate them using minimum equipment, people who are trained for a very short time, and they are able to master the art, and therefore we could sell. Selling the idea to our potential customer took a lot of time also. But when we noted that, for example, in Mombasa, there is a dumping site that was renovated, and Honorable Joho put a lot of these animals. If you go to the airport, right away from the main roundabout, and inside the airport, they have put these sculptures for beautification. The other part that these sculptures are taking as a big role is our tourism in the sense of wild animals. Kenya is reputed for having wild animals. And when we put these sculptures, which are a replica of what you have in Masai Mara, one, we market for our animals, we improve our tourism, and not considering that we are making them using scrap metal, there is a big plus for conserving our environment.
Yeah, and actually that is why I want us to basically now get into the gist of the whole thing. Why scrap metal? Mbona si vyuma vya kawaida, vyuma vizuri zaidi ambavyo viko tayari, mkaamua kutumia vyuma vikuukuu ambavyo vina kazi nyingi kuanza tena kuvipanga kwa uzuri zaidi? Why scrap metal?
Scrap metal, one, availability of scrap metal, cheap in price. Secondly, considering that we are making so many components for these sculptures, one big sculpture like an elephant has so many parts that are joined together. It's very easy to use smaller pieces. When we buy a sheet metal, a full size from the market, which is locally available but expensive, we are able to make the body for a specific sculpture. But when you come to the details, the eye, the horn, the eyebrow, the nails, the legs, and the mane, all those you can make them very well from smaller pieces. And these small pieces, what happens here in Nairobi and outside Nairobi, people collect them, take them to a scrap dealer, and then they are taken to a smelting farm for recycling. So we intercept them at that stage. And you go to so many scrap dealers and select smaller parts that from an ordinary eye, that's a waste and it's rusty. But we know the rust that we get is superficial, it's only on the surface. So when we get it, we come and clean it using the normal abrasive material, a grinder and a wire brush, and then it's neat. So we apply paint, undercoat, preventive paint, and it's smart. So that's why we are targeting scrap metal as a source of our raw material.
Okay.
Then the other big part, we use the normal material, but it's available. So there is no material that we import. There is no material that we buy from any other shop apart from the ordinary local hardware.
And that has made it cheaper even.
That has made it cheaper. And secondly, when now you combine with our mode of operation, we don't have specific machine because these animals, they have different design, different shapes. And therefore, we are not able to design a machine that will produce this sculpture within some few hours. So we have to use the normal hard, the normal hammer, the normal chisel, and we shape it the way we want. So there is also labor. The problem is when we come to make these things, to get this beautiful item, it goes through a very complex process.
What makes your products unique? Manake sidhani kama nyinyi peke yenu ndo mnatengeneza hapa. Manake ukitembea Nairobi, ukipita barabara ya Ngong, ukiangalia kwingine kuna watu ambao wanatengeneza vitu kama hivi, lakini what makes yours unique?
Two major things. One, the method that we use to make these sculptures itself is unique in the sense that we don't join so many parts and we use welding. We hammer and form. So we form this part and we have either 2 or 3 joints, making the sculpture very strong, physically strong. 2, when we clean our metal, which at the initial stage looks ugly because it's rusty, we use preventive paint, undercoat inside. So this sculpture from inside is painted. It has undercoat paint, which is prevent lasting from inside. And then when we are deciding and joining the parts, we make a framework inside. So making the animal very strong. And since we are targeting, for example, events or outdoor activities, we want to make this animal very safe. And the safety here is guaranteed by the strength of this animal. So our animal is unique. The third one, we make a replica of what is in the forest. And that's what we are referring to as natural habitat status. So if we take a photo of an elephant, we get specific details for every part. If it's the eye, we check the elephant eye. It's magnified by IT guys here. And our paint shop, they are able to get that. When we come, for example, to the toes, to the tusk, we design it like that. So we are able to get that animal the way it is. So if you put a little animal here and our sculpture here, you won't see any difference. Actually, you won't know that this is metal, this is real. That's why we say we have unique. We have unique product, end product. We have unique method of making it. You have unique method of preserving it. And I can tell you, we can give a guarantee of 3, 4, 5 years when it's exposed to very harsh environment.
Awesome, awesome. What is your target market?
One, we have institutions like schools, colleges, universities. Part of it is for beautification and for training, because we are targeted for training. We have events. We have recreational grounds. There are some people in the rural areas who have never seen this elephant, who has never seen this animal. So
if
we are able to showcase or to demonstrate those, actually when we started here, people came here for photo shows and all that, and they have seen that what we are doing can impress so many others. So we are targeting also recreational grounds and all that. The other thing is beautification of our cities, and this one we are targeting Nairobi. Nairobi, as we speak now, is being beautified, and there is a lot of improvement going on. It starts from the airport, it starts from the city center, and other lunar parks. So our target market is institutions, ministries. For example, we have KWS. KWS, they have a rhino center. They have elephant as their logo. So if those institutions can market for us, or can partner with us, we are able to supply these sculptures to them. The other thing is marketing for our tourism. For example, every year we have wildebeest migration. You see, we have made a wildebeest that is a replica of what is in Mara. So if we are able to market for that wildebeest migration using our sculptures, any tourist who comes here at the airport, from the word go, we will start seeing these sculptures lined up and that, and you have the idea.
Yeah.
The other bit that is very important, and this one can mark at the market Kenya, our embassies outside. These animals, although locally we can make them, still they can be exported. And exporting them, we can target our embassies abroad, so that any tourist who go to get a visa to come over to Kenya, he is told when you go to Masai Mara, you are going to see an animal like this one. So in our embassies, we can put them and they will be marketing Kenya. Anybody now who goes to Britain and this is Kenyan High Commissioner in Britain, you know there is an elephant, there is a giraffe, there is a sculpture, and these are the key animals in Kenya. So these animals, we have big market, and there's a big exposure here and outside. The only thing now we need to do is to make the Elephant Authority understand the art, and that's where we are.
What strategy, manake umeelezea vizuri sana, but do you have a strategy to make all this become a reality?
Yes, what now we are doing, after mastering the art of fabrication, and after training people, right now we have about 10 well-trained artists and 2 engineers. Our second thing is to sell the idea to all the relevant authority. Go to Nairobi Metropolitan, go to all the hotels, go to the ministry, go to, for example, Ministry of Tourism, KWS, and we have started that. We have printed pamphlets showing the leather product. We have a website that we are using. We have also gone to social media, and we are communicating with the institutions that will understand the real art. And there are various bodies that market for this. So at this stage, we are in those stages of approaching them. We have also relevant government ministries, Ministry of Trade, and we will approach them and get to know if we want to showcase. For example, if we want to take our animals to KICC when there is a ceremony, if we want to take these animals to State House, for example, now what we have done, after making so many lions, we have about 10 lions. We have decided to combine 2 lions, and this is what we have done. This is a coat of arms, which is everywhere in government institution. It can be put at the airport, our gateway. It can be put at the KICC, at the State House. It's big and it's 3D, so it's unique.
Do you think that we appreciate our local artistry?
No, in this sense. For example, importing from China, one, is not metal. And here we have so many industries that are smelting metal, we can make use of them. When we import, for example, using fiberglass, one is toxic. It's dangerous to environment, it's dangerous to human beings, it's very hard to dispose it. When we come to nylon, polyethylene, polymer, already the government is fighting the polythene. So when you import a lot of plastic from China, you are degrading our environment. You are also ignoring the technology that can be used here. You are also denying the artist an opportunity to improve and grow. So if all these things can be found locally and it can be done here using, for example, waste metal, there is no need of importing anything. And for example, those which were imported, they are no longer there. Some got damaged, some were not real. Some did not look like a real animal. You put something that you're saying is a replica of a lion, and it doesn't look like a lion.
Ni watu wangapi ambao hapa unafanya nao kazi wewe kama kiongozi wa Boaz Metal Art? Watu wangapi hapo umepatia kazi bwana ambao wanapata riziki yao kila siku kutoka hapa?
Okay, that's good. At this stage we have 10 people. And our target is we have trainee. We have people, for example, 2 guys here, who are not trained technically at all, but they have passion for art and they have strength and they have that interest. We found them selling scraps, and sometimes they could come over here and bring us some pieces of metal to buy. So we took them and we showed them how to use the hammer, use our simple tools, and start learning. So we started training people who have interest, no technical background. 2, we have artisan and a qualified technician who is used to do the maintenance work and the making and fabricating gates, but he has not gone beyond there. So we have managed to show them that apart from the gate, we can do something else. The other bit, we have the guys now, our IT guy, Dennis and Nelson here. They have done white collar profession, and they are targeting to get a white collar job, but they have not found that job. Bogwa is an IT guy, a graduate from JKUAT, but now we have shown him that with his degree, we can combine his field with our technical field and come up with an industry that will merge all these people. And he is enjoying. So we have people who are not trained at all, people who are not technical at all, a group that is semi-technical, but they don't have that innovation. So we are showing them how to come up with the design. Then we have the white collar team that can do, you can imagine the same workshop and they combine, and we are going to show them how to translate your white collar knowledge into something that is useful and beautiful.
Bila shaka na bila shaka kwenye awamu nyingine ya haya mazungumzo tutazungumza na hawa mabingwa wote ambao wamewataja ili kwamba tusikie pia nao wanahusika na nini ili kuhakikisha kwamba siku mwisho siku basi shughuli ambao wanaifanya hapa ya kuzusha ile inaitwa fabrication of the metal inakuwa vizuri zaidi mwisho wa siku papa hapa kwenye Boaz Metal Art. Lakini umesema kuna hii coat of arms, lakini si hiyo tu, maana pia upande wangu hapa ipo nembo ya kanisa la PCA ambayo ni kubwa zaidi na imeundwa hapa. Hebu tupatie pia shughuli nyingine ambayo unaifanya mbali na kutengeneza hawa wanyama, kuna pia vitu vingine ambavyo unafanya ambavyo vinahusiana na.
We targeted the logo because even for other institutions, most of the institutions target a metal sculpture of an animal as a logo. For example, KWS, they use an elephant as a calf. For example, AFC leopard, they have lion.
No,
KCB,
leopard.
a leopard. KCB, they have the head of a lion. So PCA, they have a logo like this one. And it is have their theme, love, peace, and hope. So when they came over here, we discussed with them about making this for a ceremony that was the climax in Tomotomo. But we were time bad, so we did not manage to fabricate it. But later we thought, why not design it and design a very unique one that can rotate, can be big, can be visible from far, and the more can be a 3D. A 3D in this sense. If you view it from this angle, from the top, from the opposite side, it's a replica of what is represented in the logo. So we designed it, and we are in communication with PCA for eternity to see that either we market it or whether they buy our idea.
Challenge umesema ni marketing, lakini mtu anaweza jiuliza tu akiangalia hii mifano na sanamu za wanyama wote hao ambao umeunda, anaweza jiuliza huyu jamaa moja anauza vipi? Hebu tupatie bei na gharama ya kila mnyama hapa kulingana ama ni kulingana namna gani? Hebu tuelekeze upande
wa. For example, what we have done, we have standardized our animals in the material used to fabricate the animal, the size and the shape. The lion, for example, the wildebeest, the zebra, they are almost all the same size, so they will use the same amount of material. The design and the techniques we use is almost the same. So we have standardized the price. And the price for those small animals, mature, for example, male lion, ranges from 180,000 to 250,000, depending on the shape and the finishing. There are some that we finishing using coating. There are some that we take it to some industries that specialist in coating. For example, the elephant that is outside here, we do it powder coating and it's heated in an oven. So if you use that, it becomes slightly expensive. But when you use the normal paint, high gloss paint that is durable and is outdoor, the ranges for all these standard animals is 180 to 250. When we come to an elephant, the sculpture of a rhino and a buffalo, one is a bit complex to make it. It's also huge. We needed to reinforce it from inside. So the price now shift from 280 all the way to 450. The elephant, we have a calf, a medium size, the biggest size that we have an African elephant. So that is our range of price. Apart from what we have here, anybody who has a unique product that he want to make and he has a photo, we are able to get it from the photo, design it, put it back to the sheet metal and make it.
You tailor make for me.
Yes.
Bila shaka. Mtazamaji, nafikiri kwamba awamu ya kwanza ya haya mazungumzo imekuwa nzuri zaidi, imekuwa burudani zaidi, maana umepata kufahamu basi mwanzo kabisa Boaz Metal Art wanajishughulisha na nini. Umeona amezungumzia kila muigo wa mnyama ambaye yuko hapa, amezungumzia kila kazi ambayo anaifanya. Nafikiri kwamba anafanya kazi nzuri, na la muhimu zaidi ni kwamba yote haya yanafanyika kutoka kwa vyuma vikuukuu vile ambavyo vinatupwa kule nyumbani, ndivyo anavichukua kabla vijakwenda sehemu nyingine kwa ambapo vinatupwa ama vinatengenezwa vitu vingine. Anatumia vyuma hivyo basi kutengeneza wanyama hao wote hapa umeona, na pia vifaa na bidhaa vingine vingi ambapo ndivyo anavitengeneza hapa. Mtazamaji, awamu ya pili haya mazungumzo toka tunaangalia basi vinatengenezwa namna gani na bila shaka kwa namna gani kila kifaa, kila bidhaa inavyotengeneza, na bila shaka kutuzungumza na wale watu ambao ndo tunasema the brain behind all this. Mtazamaji, usine mbali, manake hii ni Kazi na Mali. Uko na mimi Vincent Keosi. Zungumza nazi kwenye mtandao wetu Facebook ni Kak TV Kenya, kwenye Twitter KakTV_Kenya, na bila shaka tutakuwa tunafanya kwa uzuri zaidi. Pia kama una maoni ambao ungependa kupitisha kwenye SMS ama basi ungependa pia tukuangazie, tuma kwenye ujumbe wa 22167.